Welcome to the 89th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome returning viewers, and for those of you watching us for the first time, we're so glad you can join us. Today's adventure takes us to Bobcaygeon and also to Newmarket, and we're excited to share that adventure with you. But before we begin, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
First of all, we're going to talk about what May is wearing, and this is one of her favorites. It's the Anguli Cowl, and that's by Hilary Smith Callis. Now, the yarn that I used for this is the Creek Gardens Crafts 100% Pima sock. Fingering weight yarn, beautiful to work with, and I'll explain why we're wearing what we're wearing. So mine, what I'm wearing is the Shila, and that's by Dee O'Keefe. A lovely pattern, and once again, it is in that Creek Gardens Craft 100% Pima fingering, which is lovely yarn to work with. Now, both of these patterns, these objects, were made from the same two skeins of yarn. So if you've not tried Penny's Pima cotton fingering, it's a good thing to do if you want to make some presents for Christmas. You could do that. The nice thing about it, it's cotton, it's a little bit lighter, and I really enjoy working with that fingering weight yarn.
It's a very nice light yarn, isn't it?
It is.
Now, is this the kind of one you can throw in the wash or not throw in the wash?
I still would wash it by hand because you just want to lay it out so that it's not something that you have to block out, but just lay it out flat.
Yeah, and that was my next question. Would you have to block something like this? But it doesn't feel like
it all depends. Like this has some lace, and I might try to block it a little bit just to keep the lace open. But
it's kind of neat how the same yarn, two different looks.
Exactly.
Completely.
Exactly. And the fact that I was able to make both of them. Now, part of the reason why we decided to wear this is that I won a prize, and my prize arrived yesterday. So thrilled about it. So it was with the Cozy Up Knits. They were doing a spring cotton make-along. So next spring, you could do the same thing. And what I won was a gnome kit. There it is, and that's from Penny of Creek Gardens Crafts. A project bag from Creek Gardens Crafts, and a pattern for the gnome.
That's a cute little gnome that you're going to
It
be
is
making.
a cute little gnome. So
Yeah.
I have to make the executive decision. Do I order some more cotton and make something else, or do I make the little gnome? So I would be happy making either one, and it was such a treat.
Cute to make it.
It is a cute one.
Yeah.
And I have one poor little gnome that's all lonely, so maybe we need to make that one.
Now, let me ask you, what did you have to do in order to win this prize?
What I did was I did some knitting with some cotton, and then you just take pictures and you put it in Ravelry, and then it's a random number generator, and I was one of the lucky winners.
Well,
I was thrilled.
Congratulations. And they're such a nice crew out there, aren't they?
Exactly.
We're going to visit them one day. That's going to be one of our adventures.
I think it should
them.
be.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we're visiting them in the summer because they are northern Alberta, so
Wow.
we don't want to be where it's too cold. So that's what we're wearing, and next we're going to talk about finished objects. Before I start talking about finished objects, you'll know that I've changed because I have a lot to show you, and I knew that I'd just be a little bit too warm. Even though the cotton's light, I think just a little warm for what
we
we're
are
going
in
to
the
do.
middle of a heat wave all over the
We
world.
are.
Like Europe is crazy, I think,
know,
over there.
and we tried to ask Google what the weather was going to be, and it didn't matter what day we asked for. They kept saying there's a heat warning
wave,
today. There's a
warning.
heat warning today.
But we
So-
are in our basement,
Yes.
which is very cool.
Exactly.
So I'm good. but
You're good.
You're always warm anyway. So.
I'm a little warmer, and it was a little bit bigger. So my first finished object is called the Perfectionist Trap, and that's by Kacey Herlihy. And I was using some leftover Berroco vintage DK. Now, this is not something you'd want to wear today, but we'll hold it up. So if you are looking for a nice project, some TV knitting, this would be it. It's a brilliant pattern. The texture it's all about the texture. So you want to use something that's a tonal yarn, and I really like it. So I didn't even have two full skeins. I think I had 1.8, 1.9, and I was able to do the whole thing and the I-cord bind off. So I really like that. That's going to be really nice when it's colder. And I really like the yarn.
Isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But it's nice. It's a nice size. I like that.
It is, and it really, like, if you look at the picture on the front of the pattern, So anything that you do is gonna, as long as it's a tonal, will show off that. It would
Now,
be
is that
great.
sorry to interrupt you there, but is that a paid for pattern? Or
It is a
free-
paid for
it is.
pattern.
So you
And
have to get
what
that.
I'm going to try and do when I do my notes, obviously the teacher in me, when I do my notes, I'll make a note of whether something is a paid for
Free.
pattern or a free pattern. And I actually even identified it in red if it's free. So I'll make sure I let you know that.
Good.
So that's my first finished object. Now my second finished object is...
I don't understand about knitting, but I do understand about free and not free.
Yes, exactly. That's right. It's called Zuzu's Petals. And this is by Carina Spencer. And this pattern is brilliant because it works for any weight of yarn. And I had some Cascade Heritage Wave that I was going to work with.
Paid for pattern again?
Paid for pattern. And here it is. It looks very small, but I opened up the lace, so it's going to sit nicely. It would sit nicely under a coat in the winter. Exactly.
Nice.
So I'm really, really excited
Yeah.
about that one. And I did open it up, block it, open it up.
It'd be really
and
nice to see what this looks like on, because it's kind of an
Exactly.
odd or different shape than what
Do you
you're
want me to
used to
try?
wearing. Put it on?
I can
Okay,
try.
yeah, sure, why not?
Let's go see what we can do here. Forget the hair, forget the makeup.
I see, yeah, that looks great, yeah. That's nice.
How's the hair?
Beautiful.
Okay, good.
No, that looks really nice.
Does it look really nice?
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the color.
It's nice and light to wear too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm really happy with that. Actually, it doesn't go too badly with this
No,
shirt.
it looks great.
But it's wool, so it's coming off. There we go.
That's nice.
All right. So I'm really happy with that, and I may make another one.
That's beautiful.
And the nice thing about that is it takes maybe about half a skein. And so you'll see something a little later that I'm doing with the leftover of that. I think just over half a skein.
Nice.
Exactly. So that's thrilling. Now I have to show you this, even though I haven't done it yet, but I may. And what they did was Carina Spencer adapted the pattern for your dog or cat, and it's called Zuzu's Pet-als. And I'm just showing you the picture.
That color matches that dog for perfectly.
I know. It's
That's so cute.
So we have my son's got a dog, and we're going to see. I have to make sure I get the neck measurement so I can make sure it goes. But once again, you can use different weights of yarn. So I had to show you that picture because.
And in the winter, the dog would appreciate that.
Exactly. So those are my finished objects in May. How about you, finished objects?
I do have some finished objects. I can go and get those now and show you.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I am back with my finished objects.
Right.
And as you know, I've talked about my little miniature luggages. And I had
Exactly.
this vision of making it, Air Canada and all the Via Rail.
Right.
And my vision has actually come together.
That's
so I'm glad to be able to
fantastic.
show you that. So here is my Via Rail.
Oh my gosh, these are so cute.
Yeah. It'd be great to give this as a gift with a ticket.
Right, absolutely. I think that's a great
Christmas.
idea.
And here is my Air Canada.
Very nice. Oh, these look fantastic.
And here is my WestJet.
Very
And I
nice. You
just
picked
used
the
the
colors
colors
really well.
Right,
Yeah.
Now, what people have been asking me is how I do my little, the back of this and how I make it go up and down like
Right,
that.
right.
So I may do a little video of how to do that. If
Okay,
you're
that's a
interested in
great
making
idea.
your own little set, it's great if you're giving, like I say, a ticket for a Christmas gift.
Fantastic.
And people seem to buy them, and maybe I'd like to ask them what they're buying them for.
Right.
Or maybe
well,
even
Barbie
their
needs
dollhouse.
luggage.
Barbie needs luggage, or they might be doing a luggage store
Right.
for a miniature,
Right.
or a dollhouse, or
Right.
whatever else. So I've been busy doing that, and that's been great coming together and
I
kind
just
of
have to
finish.
tell you one thing about Barbie. I was on Instagram and there was a picture of happy 85th birthday Barbie. So it must have been the 85th birthday. And what they'd done is photoshopped her all wrinkly and old. It was quite a Barbie.
That would be realistic.
It
That would
was
be good.
realistic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That lady Goodall with the apes, that was really awesome
Right.
lady. They've made a Barbie for her too now.
Oh, fantastic. There we go.
She's awesome. And also, I've been making, we went to a little miniature dollhouse place, and I picked up some coat hangers.
Right.
And anyway, I thought I could make those myself, so I had some
Yes.
scrap wood, so I just made some
Look
miniature
at
coat
those.
hangers. These are basically for Colleen for when she knits those little miniature sweaters.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so what I do with those, I just stack cut. I've talked about that before. You just layer the wood, you tape
Right.
it together, and
Right.
so it's not like you're cutting it each individual one out,
Oh,
cutting
that's
3
amazing.
or 4 at a time. So they
Brilliant.
came together quite nice. And then my son plays guitar, bass
Right.
guitar, he plays electric guitar, he plays acoustic guitar, and he just loves guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs a keychain, I know, is for where he lives,
Right.
to hang up his keys.
Right.
And so then I thought I would make him a little keychain. I haven't gotten the hooks on there yet, so it's
Right.
really technically not a finished object. But
That's okay.
yes, and
it
it's
looks
a
great.
nice maple wood.
Oh, it's
and then
beautiful.
you put the little hooks in here, and then you have a place to hang your keys.
Brilliant. He's going to love that.
Yes, so those are the projects I've been up to. Been quite busy, and I'm starting into some other things that you're going to see in future videos, so be prepared for that. And that's about it.
And next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is a pair of socks, and I'm going to let you know that I've combined a couple of patterns. So once you've made socks a couple of times, you can do that. So I really like Katy Lou's sock pattern. It's great by Katy Lou Green. Now, it is for 72 stitches, and not everybody fits a 72 stitch sock. So what I did was I changed it up to 64 stitches, but then I had to play with some numbers.
Is that because they're for you? Because they're smaller? Or?
No, there was the great debate is, are these for May or are these for somebody else? So
So you had to lower them for me?
I lowered them for you just
Oh.
to see if that was good, and if that doesn't work, then we'll check. I think you've had these on and we'll see. So what I'm using for the other numbers is the Shell Cove socks, and that's by K.F. Jones of the Bakery Bears.
So you can kind of combine them both?
Exactly. Yeah,
You can do that?
I can.
Oh.
Because I know what the one pattern does, and so I've done a lot of the Katy Lou socks, and I just needed to change things up with the numbers.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well,
Both divisible by 8, so life is good.
well,
It's a
okay.
math thing, what can I say? So what I'm using is Premier Wool-Free Sock, which I've used before, great yarn, and I'm doing them 2 at a time. And I was struggling with them, so I actually, with the things that was left, I just wound them up into balls. So these are to the point that these could be for anybody. And so I said to May, do you like them? She goes, oh, those would be great by the campfire. So that's why they may be for you. And then the person I was started making them for, I could do something different. But I really love this yarn, machine washable, machine dryable. And
Love the colors. They look like a fire pit sock, don't they?
Exactly. The colorway is called Utah, so I think it's supposed to be sunset, mountains, that kind of
That's
thing.
exactly what it looks like.
Exactly. So I'm really happy with those. Whoever gets them, I'm happy with them.
Nice.
So that's my first one. That is a paid for pattern. All right. My second, and this has to do something with the fact that we've been in the car, and so I've been trying to make things that are easy to work on in the car. This is great when you do magic loop and socks. It works well. Now, this is called, I'll let you hold that up. This is called the Sockhead Cowl, and this is by Kelly McClure of Boho Knits, and this is a free pattern. So for those of you who have like a skein of fingering weight yarn and you're not quite sure what to do with it, this is fantastic because you just keep knitting, 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 knitting until. Now I'm using this is Wisdom Yarns Wool Free Allegro, which is lovely yarn to work with. And so this will just keep going. And you just keep going round and round and round. So it's great if you are, let's say you're in the car and you want to be able to look at scenery, then you're just knitting all the time.
Nice.
So it's great. I really, really
Very
like
nice,
it.
soft. I love that yarn.
Exactly. It
Nice.
is nice. And I like it because it's got navy, which I wear, and it's got black, which I wear, and a little bit of
Nice.
gold. So I'm really happy with that. So that's the second one.
There's
Lots of
more?
works in progress. And yes, there's more. Okay, so my next work in progress is called The Transfer Point, and that's by Kacey Herlihy.
When you have so many things on the go, do you ever get mixed up?
I don't. The trick is, where did I put that pattern?
Oh.
And so what I've got is a plastic kind of thing with dividers, and that's helped, except then I put more patterns in there and it gets confusing, but I'm doing okay with that. Now, this yarn that I used for this, and I'll hold it up in a sec, is from Ginger Twist Studio, and we went to this shop in Edinburgh, Scotland. And so there is one that is called Sheepish DK, and the other one is called Tweed Treat DK. Couldn't even get it out of my mouth. Exactly. But I wanted to do something special with this yarn. And here we are.
Wow.
So I'm just about to
This looks like a
bind
winter
off.
project. I wouldn't want to be knitting this today.
You know what? When you're in an air-conditioned house, it's not too bad to work on. But there you go. I did put a longer cable, but you'd need a super long cable. So it has neat texture in it, which shows up a little bit more in the gray than it does in the burgundy. Now, after my situation with the other shawl, I'm going to be really careful. It will be the big debate whether I actually block it. What I might do is just spray this a little bit to wet it, but not put it in soak to wet it. I don't know yet. I did try to do that little trick.
This does look like it would bleed.
Yep, but I did that trick with the paper towel, and none of the color came off. So
that's good.
But I'm still a little hesitant, to be honest with you.
I could see that.
So I'm all done the gray. I've got this much left to do my bind off, and I'm really, really happy with how it is.
Nice. It'll be nice when it's done. I love the color.
You. Now, Kacey Herlihy makes great patterns. So you've seen that's the second or third this time. And I like how she does texture, she does color work. They're really well written as well.
Nice.
Okay, so that's
really
that.
Nice. Okay. More? There's more?
There's more. All right. So I had a little bit, well, more than a little bit. I had almost 50 grams of the Heritage Wave, Cascade Heritage Wave left. And so I thought, I know what I'm going to do with it. So I decided I was going to do the Shalola with by Laura Nelkin. Now there's two versions, and we were joking about no ink in the printer, so you can see this does not have stripes.
There's a whole thing about us with the printer. I have to tell you this. Can I tell this story?
Oh, you can tell the story.
Colleen prints out patterns, as you can see. Beautiful color. And I'm sitting at my computer, and the printer goes and goes, and there's these beautiful patterns and beautiful colors comes out of this printer all the time. Now, I rarely print. And so I go to print one thing, and there's no color.
There you go.
I think, how can Colleen print all these beautiful, beautiful things for days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I go to print nothing?
You know what happens?
You run out of ink.
I changed the ink, so I didn't realize it was. Now this was done a long time ago, so I would have printed that off.
So it's really not a striped thing.
No, it's not striped at all.
It's just
not
a color.
striped at all. Exactly. It's this color right there.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, we'll just work that out. I can change that. So there's two versions. One has lace all over the place, and I did get about 3/4 of it done, and I thought, I'm not liking it that way. It just had to do with the yarn and the beads I chose, and anyway, so I decided to do the garter version, which I hadn't done before. So here it is. And
no beads?
Oh, there's beads.
Oh.
So there's just a few beads on this one.
Oh, there is, yes.
Yeah, and they're just add a little bit of sparkle to it, and I really like it. So it's going to sit with the bead part right down here, and I think it's going to be really, really nice.
Yeah.
I'm just about ready to cast off. I still have that much yarn left. So this is a great pattern. I don't even know how many you could get out of one skein of fingering weight yarn.
Nice.
Exactly. So if you're using a more plain, this has a gradient kind of thing in it, this Cascade Heritage Wave, but if you used plain, then the beads might show up a little bit differently.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm really happy.
You can see them when you hold it like this, but you may not be able to see them in the camera.
Yeah, it does have a little sparkle to it.
This is a nice and light thing to wear, I think.
Exactly.
Nice.
So I had made one for my mom. I've made one for your mom. So this one's for me. I might make one for you. It all depends on if you want beads. There you go. Good job. All right, works in progress continue. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, Colleen. How do you keep track?
Well, a lot of notes. So this is another pattern by Kacey Herlihy. Okay, I'm all about these for right now. And this is called Static, and you can see that it's a color work cowl. Now, there's two versions. Either the main color's light and you use dark as the contrast, or the main color's dark and you use light as the contrast. It's really nice that Kacey Herlihy is actually gives you the two charts, because sometimes when the chart looks like the dark yarn is your light yarn, it gets confusing. So it's really helpful. The other thing is there's a short and a long version of it. So, or tall. So the short one is 8 inches tall. The long one is 11.5 inches tall.
And it's a paid-for pattern, I take
It is a
with all
paid-for
that
pattern.
involved.
Exactly. So I am using Berroco Comfort DK. So I've done Berroco Comfort Sock for you, and you'll feel that it's lovely. Now, I've just started this. But oh my goodness, color work is addictive.
Love the yarn. My goodness, that
It feels really
so
nice. Exactly. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
So this is nylon and acrylic.
This would not be car knitting.
You know what? It's not too bad, but it's not. If I'm trying to give you directions of which way to go, this would not be the knitting to do.
Because I'm looking at all the inside. It looks like a lot
exactly.
of work
It is.
going
It's a
on
lot
there.
of carrying.
Lots going on in there.
Exactly.
This is nice, though.
I'm really, really happy with this.
Yeah, I don't want to lose any stitches here.
I'm really glad she's not doing that. Now, the funny thing is, I went to start this, and the ribbing has a different size of knitting needle. And I said to me, I don't have the right size for this. And she was in shock. She just about fell over.
Colleen has cases and cases of knitting needles.
Yep.
And to not have the right one was
exactly.
shocking
So
to me.
it was, I needed a shorter size, and this is a size that I don't use very often.
Did you end up getting it?
I had it in one of my sets, yes.
Oh, you did find it.
I did. And then I realized that I only 8 rows of it, and then I had to start using a different size.
Well, there you go.
But it's all good.
Nice.
So I'm happy. I love that. It's a really rich purple. So I'm really, really happy
It's like a
with that.
royal purple. Yes.
Exactly.
Nice.
So that's that.
More?
Okay, just one more.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
So I am a member of the Lola's Choice Club by Laura Nelkin. Every 2 months, she sends, I mean, you have to pay for it, but she sends out a new one. This, she decided for July, was a Flowla Mystery Knit Along. So I have absolutely no idea how this is going to end up. I can show you what I've got because the first clue was the 15th. So if you want to join and you haven't, I have the kit with the yarn in it, but you can also use different weights of yarn. So it's definitely different.
When I see all this stuff that you've done,
Right.
and the stuff that I do,
Right.
how do we get the house clean?
Well, every once
We
in a
don't
while,
really do home.
somebody's coming over.
And we have to tidy and dust, like really dust, because,
Exactly.
you know, housework always becomes secondary. But we do manage to squeeze in the laundry here and there.
Exactly. Yep.
I wouldn't want to videotape our house because, you know.
No.
No.
Well, it doesn't look too bad right now because everything's down here. All right. So I have got the first clue done. So that's what it looks like.
This is a clue?
This is a clue, the first clue done. And this is Sandnes Garn Tyne Line, and this is, let me see what it says. It has got, okay, I need English. There's linen, there's viscose, there's cotton.
Nice.
It's really, really nice. Now,
Soft.
I am using a bamboo needle because they said it's really slippery. So I have to check to see how much I have left because these are 50-gram balls and there was a certain amount you were supposed to use. So.
Nice.
So I don't know how it's all
interesting.
going to get put together because it's a mystery, but I can hardly wait for the next one.
Yeah, exciting.
All right. Wow. Those are my works in progress. And May, works in progress.
You know, I do have something in progress. It's a canopy bed. I'm trying to
that's
figure out how to
exciting.
make a 1 to 12 scale canopy bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping to have that on the next podcast figured out.
Okay.
It's the
Sounds
figuring out that causes me grief.
Well, I know you can do it.
But with you as my sidekick and doing the bedding, I
Right.
think we could manage something.
We're usually pretty good to figure out something
So
out.
I'm glad I've got you on my support
I am
system
on
here.
your team, my dear.
All right, so we'll look forward to seeing that on our next podcast.
All right. So next we're going to talk about our adventure.
As I mentioned, our adventure took us to Bobcaygeon, and then on the way home from Bobcaygeon, then we stopped in at Newmarket.
Right.
So I'll just show you on the map here. Here's Bobcaygeon, and then there's Newmarket, and that was on our way home. Now we went to the yarn store in Bobcaygeon, which is called,
Granny Bird's Wool Shop.
and as you can see from this photo, there was nobody home.
It was closed. Well, actually, we ended up seeing them. They were packing to go to the yarn festival.
Right.
And so
And we didn't want to interrupt
No,
because
we
they looked
didn't.
like they were very busy.
Mhm.
And Colleen knew that she would see them at the yarn festival,
Right.
but you didn't get an opportunity to see inside their store.
No, I
But
didn't.
when we did go to the festival,
Yes.
we were able to get a photo.
We got a photo with them, and I actually went through their booth once, and then I went to go back to see if I could, because they had all kinds of beautiful Malabrigo yarn. Oh my goodness. But it was so busy, I didn't end up purchasing.
I think their booth was one of the busiest booths,
It
because
was
every time I
absolutely-
went to go there,
Yep.
I couldn't even move.
No.
It was just packed with
All
people.
kinds of pom-poms, all kinds of yarn. So next time we go,
Which
if we
there
go
will be a
again,
next time.
There will be a next time.
Because we
Then we're
loved it
go-
up that way.
Exactly. Then we're going to make sure we plan our trip out so that we can go to that yarn shop.
The actual store itself.
Exactly.
But we had a little bit of that at the festival. it looked
Exactly,
so,
exactly.
of what they carried and what they didn't carry.
Right.
But the store itself, looking from in the window, it looked great.
It
And
really
it looked like a perfect location in Bobcaygeon. Oh
Right.
my gosh. I love Bobcaygeon. It's just this little community. And you know, who made it famous was the Tragically Hip. They mentioned Bobcaygeon in their song.
Yes, they did.
And that's what made it.
And now
It
we
was
can
over
say
100.
we've been there.
Yes. Now, at the corner, there was this British store. Unbelievable. The best British store I've ever been in my entire life. It's massive. Like, we have a couple of stores in London here, and they say, oh, we're the biggest. No, you have not been to Bobcaygeon store. Now, the lady there, Sharon, we got talking to her for quite a while. It was a beautiful, beautiful day.
Right.
And she doesn't sew, but or she doesn't knit, but she's a seamstress, and she used to sew all the riding gear for her kids that were riding, and she sounds like she was quite the seamstress. Now, she got involved with somebody too in Europe that makes hats, so then she started making hats and selling them in her store too. She goes to Scotland, I think, once a year. She buys products. The amount of products they had in there, the sweaters, the riding
unbelievable.
boots. Now, I did take videos and everything of that store. I don't know where they are. If I can find them between now and this, then I'll just throw in a little video. But if I can't, I've got some photos that
And
I've
your
been
photos
putting
are
in.
great. Absolutely.
But, you know, the photos don't really, show what this store was like. It was quite big. It was out there. She gets a lot of customers, I think, from Toronto. She gets a lot of people coming in on boats.
Exactly.
Not boats go up, but a lot of people that will shop there.
Right.
We spent a lot of time talking with her because she was so interesting to talk to.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like they're quite busy there.
I think so. Now, it is called the London Trading Post, classic British country wear.
And they've got a great website.
The sweaters there are amazing. The Aran sweaters that you're usually used to seeing, but she had all different lengths. She had all different, whether it was just a pullover, whether it was a cardigan, whether it was a long, almost coat style.
I wonder
It was
who knits all
unbelievable.
that stuff.
I don't know, but they're very good. That's what
They
I know.
are, because some of them were really cool and how they were made and everything
Exactly.
else.
It was
just
unbelievable.
It was that was a great little store there. And then we walked across the street. Do you remember? We went into the antique place.
Yes.
That was kind of fun. And they had a bakery. They're good for their, I think they're known for their tarts or something there too.
Oh, yes.
Butter tarts. And then we walked down and we had a really nice lunch at the local diner.
Yeah, it's called the Signature Diner.
And that was awesome
It
because
was great French fries, by the way. I seem to be the French fry lady, but yes.
But not only that, we split the clubhouse sandwich, and it was the best clubhouse sandwich by far that I've ever had in my life.
It was really,
I don't know
really good.
how can you go wrong with a clubhouse sandwich, but
Yes.
apparently you can, because this was just amazing.
So we're going back to Bobcaygeon first.
Just for the clubhouse sandwich and to go to the British store.
And the yarn store.
And then we might drop into the yarn store. But if you get an opportunity in that area, please drop in any one of those places. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
So that was a great trip. And then, Colleen could talk more. On the way home, we went to this beautiful yarn store, Newmarket, which was called the
Serenity Knits. And Sheila Griffith is the owner. And she has an online store. She does classes. Her samples are brilliant.
I'm going to put a little video in here, Colleen, so that
Perfect.
they can see a little bit more of the store.
Okay,
and then
excellent.
We'll come back. hopefully those videos gave you a little bit of idea what the store looks like.
Absolutely. And Sheila was wonderful, and she is actually the sister-in-law of the owner of the Wool and Silk Company, which we've been to in Shelburne.
Okay.
Exactly. So it was lovely to see. She does do online. They're open in the evenings. Now, the one thing that we loved was we saw that she had kits for a Hudson's Bay blanket, and it was Isabell yarn. So what Sheila had done is created this blanket, this pattern for this blanket, and then got in contact with Isabell, and Isabell said, we're going to buy the rights to that pattern. Sheila can absolutely still do the pattern, and do the kits for the pattern, but they bought it because it was so well done and well made.
Yeah, she looks like she knows what she's doing.
She definitely
does.
does.
And the one thing about that store at Newmarket that caught my eye was when we first put into it, I thought it was going to be dark, like, because there was no windows. Like, it didn't seem like it was all yarn, pictures of yarn. And I thought, when I did go in, I thought, well, that's kind of odd. Usually there's pictures or light. And then when you went into the store, you could actually see out of all of that.
Exactly.
It was just amazing to me.
I've never seen anything like that.
No.
But I would imagine it's going to keep some of the sunlight from
coming in
to mess with the yarn itself, like the UV rays, I think.
But you could see, it was just amazing.
It was amazing, and we really, really did enjoy it. Now, the one thing I want to talk about, because I do try to ask these people, what is their favorite notion? And May will show the picture of it. And then I thought, ooh, I have something similar. I would have purchased one because I think it would be great to have in just about any project bag you've got. But she didn't have any in stock. She's got them on order. She didn't have any in stock. So I'm going to show you mine. Now, Simply Knitting is a knitting magazine. And sometimes you get like a set of bamboo knitting needles. And sometimes, the one time I bought it, actually, sometimes you buy it more for the thing that's on the outside. It was actually a sock ruler.
And you use that all the time?
Use it all the time. I have the original sock ruler, but I kind of want to keep it for good, so I use this other one.
Now, is that magazine an expensive magazine?
It's not too bad. There are some other magazines that are a little bit more expensive when it comes to knitting.
Well, Oprah magazine's not cheap either.
Oh my gosh. I said to May, I was at the grocery store. I thought, I could buy the Oprah magazine. Kind of flipped through it, and I thought, I better take a look, because magazines and prices. It was $17.99 for an Oprah magazine.
Oprah, stop it. We love you, Oprah, but stop it.
So anyway, I said, needless to say, did not buy it. All right, back to the knitting store. So what this is, I'm just going to show you. So this is the one that I have. The things that I get from when I buy the magazine have Simply Knitting on the outside. So it has a clasp that opens it, and then it flips open.
Oh, cool.
And then on this side, I'm going to try not. It's a bigger space, and then here it's got these little things you can put stitch markers on, and then these ones are about half the size. So it's really quite slick.
That is cool. Now, did you have that before you went to Newmarket, or did you have this after?
No, I had it before.
And so you kind of looked at that and thought, I have something like that.
I have something similar. I probably, to be honest with you, as I said, if she'd had one, I would have bought one.
Right.
Partly because we like to support the yarn stores we visit. But she just didn't have any.
Right.
So,
that's great.
Anyway. So it was nice. It was just reminded me, and I thought, that's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to throw that in my knitting bag. And it actually, the one big part will actually, if you have a pair of small snips, will go in there.
Cool.
And I might have a pair of small snips as well. So that was that yarn store. Absolutely loved it. We had a great time when we were away. And so we really love that we can share these great stores with you.
Exactly.
So next we're going to talk about souvenirs.
I actually have some souvenirs today.
What?
Well, the British store, how can you not go in there and not buy a souvenir? Of course, mine are always edible.
Almost.
Almost all edible.
Right.
But anyway, what I did was I bought these, which we love. We buy them in the London British store too.
Yes,
we buy
we
these
do.
chips. And the reason being is because we not only do we love the flavor of Walker's chips, but we like the portions. They
Yes,
come,
absolutely.
So, because if I open a bag of chips this big, I eat it. If I open a bag of chips this big, I eat it. And if I open a bag of chips this big, I eat it. These bags are tiny, and then I'm just done, and then I'm okay.
Exactly.
So, and they're great, and the calories are only, oh dear, 129 calories for a bag.
That's not bad at all.
No.
Now, the funny thing is, as you will see, there's not a single chip in that bag. And that is because
It's a six-pack.
normally we leave souvenirs till after we've done our video, but we were away, and we were in the car, and we were hungry, and that went well. Open those chips.
Yeah, so that was a good souvenir. And also, I love soap, and we have quite a collection of soap. We went to Scotland and Ireland. We bought a lot of soap because it's beautiful. And so she had like a whole collection of soap in this British store, and she may have it on her website. You can check that out.
Right.
And all her soap is doubly wrapped, and it's just unbelievable, the scents of there, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's so many different kind.
Yeah, and this is actually made in England.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
It really, really
Yeah.
is.
They have to be commended for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
It's brilliant.
Brilliant. Anyway, love that. So, and you know what? You can put that in your drawer in a little bag, with your knitting bag, whatever.
Exactly. Now, it's funny, when we got home from Scotland, when we went in 2018, I think. It's hard to believe it was that long ago. I had bought this soap on the Isle of Arran, which is one of your favorite places in the world. Mm-hmm. And I thought I should buy something for May, like whether it's a candle or whether it's something else with that scent. So I went on their website, and then I looked at the shipping, and I thought, we're just both going to have to smell the soap together because it's pricey to ship. So anyway, but it beautiful. And every time I'm feeling like I need to have a moment of remembering that trip, I'll go in and smell that soap, and it brings it back.
Now, at the British store, you bought some items. Now, did you buy anything from that yarn store at the festival? Because I know we couldn't get into the yarn store.
No, I didn't.
Well, because it was so busy.
It was so busy. I usually do one round when I'm at a festival, and then I go slowly the second time. And by the time I was slowly the second time, yeah.
Okay.
So I just thought to myself, this is busy, but I'll make sure that we go there.
Yeah, and it's not too far of a drive for us.
No, it's not too far at all.
So we can go back.
Exactly, and there were lots of things that I would like.
So your British store was what
British store. We got all the way out with our chips and our soap, and then I said, May, I had bought a tea towel when we were in Scotland and washed it, and because I wanted to make a project bag, and it just
didn't wash nice.
It just kind of faded it all, and I thought it's not worth it. So I thought, I'm going to buy another tea towel, which I did. So here is the one that I bought. It's a beautiful tea towel.
And you're going to make this into a project bag?
I'm going to make it into a project bag. So I love it.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's really, really cute. So that's going to be nice. And this is remember I was talking in our previous one, that was the lining that I got. I think it just matches perfectly. It's got that nice little yellow tone. So I'm happy about that.
Good.
So that's what I got at the British store. Now, off to the world of Serenity knits. So many things. You know how I just have to focus. So,
and this is a Newmarket.
This is in Newmarket.
And the Serenity knit store that you saw the video in.
Exactly. So, Sheila had made this pattern. It's called the Cloudesley. And it looks like just a plain shirt from the front, but the back has all this detail. And she had knit it.
That's nice.
In this lovely blue color.
Wow.
May's got a picture of that. So it's viscose and baby alpaca. So it's really light, but it will be warm. And so I bought enough to make that sweater. So I'm going to have to make sure that I do a gauge swatch, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing that. It's been wanting to get on the needle since we got back, but I'm just really, really happy with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That yarn had to be fairly expensive because it feels like it's expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful, and it's beautiful.
We're gonna have to get a safe for these sweaters.
Well, some
they're
yarns,
worth their weight in gold.
This actually, when I saw the finished product and I saw this yarn and felt it, I thought, no, this is something, because this is going to be a bit of work. And sometimes when things get off the needle so fast, you think, oh, okay, this is going to take a little bit longer to do, but I'm happy about that.
Good.
And do all the texture at the back.
You might have to concentrate when you do this one, I think.
I think so. Yeah. But the front's plain.
Yeah.
So not concentrate, and we'll go from there. And then the other thing that I bought is Area 51 fibers, and this is their fingering socks called Sturdy Alien Base. Now, of course, we had to have a little purple and a little bit of teal, so I'm really, really happy with that.
I've seen those colors together before in something else. And
you know what? I know that I was just watching a podcast, don't ask me which one, and they were talking about Area 51 fibers.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. And so I think it was the Cozy Up ladies who had done one. This one was a different podcast, and I'm really, really happy with that. Right. So I'm going to make myself a lovely, nice pair of socks, and I might, because my feet are a little smaller, make some shorties for you.
Nice.
There we go.
Those will be great.
All right.
So it was a great trip.
We had a wonderful time.
Weather was amazing.
Exactly.
Good time of year to go.
Exactly. We really had a good time.
Yep. But if you're up in that Newmarket area, make sure you go in and see that yarn store because it was well worth the trip.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for watching. If you're liking what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, comment down below. You will be noticing now that we have some ads. And that's because we were able to get to that level of monetization.
Which is great. Thank you to you. We appreciate that.
Exactly.
We're sorry for the ads, though. We can't really control that.
No.
But we do appreciate you subscribing. So if you can continue to do that,
that would be great.
Appreciate that.
And I don't exactly know why the thumbs up makes a difference. I think it has to do with when you do a search, where it comes up, how often it comes up.
Right.
So we appreciate that as well. Because we love doing this for you. We have a great time. We get to go away. We get to
talk about our trip. We get to talk about our adventures. We get to show off those local yarn stores that we all want to support. And the people have been awesome in that community. So
exactly.
It's great.
Thanks again. And until next time,
you take